college, I worked at a group home in Westchester County, and we worked with young men who didn't have, parents that really could take care of them. So they were a part of the system. And although we provided, the food, the shelter, and the love, some of them just couldn't reach. It's a week because he knew what was coming. He began to think about what people were getting ready to face. And I think about the city of Rochester and the challenges we have faced and the chance that we have right now to overcome those challenges by working together. That's what I've been doing as mayor, going around not only to Washington, D.C., but also to Albany, asking them for their support, telling them about our challenges, telling them about our awesome opportunities, that we are a resilient community. We are a community that works together, that holds hands and uplifts one another. When you think about them.
For their rent, is the city offering any sort of rent space to them?
Right now, no, I didn't know that they were shut down. We've been working with, of course, Greater Rochester Visitors Association. I have a meeting set up with the county executive next week to discuss how we can move forward with, performing arts center and other things. Yes, ma'am.
Is there going to be a clean sweep this year?
Yes, there will be. The clean sweep, I believe, will be, I don't have my calendar here, but I think it's May 8th. I believe it's May 8th. It's going to be one large clean sweep we're going to start at Red Wing Stadium, and we're going to invite everyone there, and after.
To this neighborhood. This was a beautiful neighborhood. We came from the South, and my parents worked very hard to get the home that they did. They passed away, but we still own the property. I came back, and after my father passed away, and realized the street on Sawyer Street wasn't the street that I grew up on. There's a lot of houses that have been left vacant, abandoned. I tried to work with the net office and say, where are these houses? I know they need to put new laws on the back in here because of the deterioration of the houses. I feel like there should be new code enforcement.
The bank hasn't foreclosed on them. They just leave them there, and you're right, they are deteriorating.
They're eyesore.
We have many houses across our city that's like that. So we're working with them to actually get possession of them and have them give them to the city so that we can deal with them. Either we're going to sell them at our auction, or we're going to make them a part of our land bank. If we make them a part of our land bank, we're able to give it to a community association that can then renovate the property, what we call a chodo, renovate the property, and then sell it to an owner occupant. That would be the best idea for us, and so we're currently working with the Attorney General's office, who is leading the charge against the banks for this collapse in our mortgage and foreclosure market. And so we should know something in the next couple months about where we can go with that. But I understand and agree with you. I think that we have to provide more support to our homeowners who would like to repair their homes. We have a number of seniors that have invested, 40, 50 with the new roof. And so we are looking internally at how we can be more supportive of people, the pendulum back. Yes, sir.
Mayor, my name is Jerry Ingram. Just wanted to ask you just two questions I want to ask. What can we do as far as keeping these young black African-American men off the street corner and get our neighborhoods back from the drug dealers? Second, I wanted to ask you about the school system. Right now, our schools, through grace of God, are in suburban area schools because of the situation with the school district as far as resources. When we have our kids right now at Charles Finney, and the resources that I see for these kids, even my kids in Webster, the resources. How do we want change, but we're not giving the kids the same opportunity as the other kids, And so it's so easy for kids to drop out of school or start hanging out with so-called friends on street corners and selling drugs. And then, this
Some are out there because they dropped out of high school or they didn't see education as an opportunity for them. One of the things I think that we have to do is get back to career technical education and exposing our people, our young people, to the opportunity that everyone is not going to go to college, but we have an obligation to give them an opportunity to earn a career and to work towards that. The way our current school system, you pointed out the differences. Students that go to school in the suburban schools have an opportunity to go to BOCES. If they can go to their main school half a day, and then they can go and receive a career technical education the second half. The children that are located in the city of Rochester, they don't have that option. For us growing up, that was Edison Tech. For some reason, the school district at the time decided to move away from that and educate all our children as if they were going to college. And that, I believe, was a mistake. And we are turning back from that. That's why I have, I'm not afraid to talk about the fact that we need to have somebody help us. And, charter schools is a factor in helping us do that. I don't believe that the problem with the school district is about resources. The city school district has a $790 million budget. To be educated at Allendale, Columbia, it costs about $20,000 a year, and we spend about $20,000 a year per child at our city school district. So I don't think that it's about resources. I think that we have a number of great teachers that are teaching, but the system is such that we have created barriers that we just can't overcome. We know that research has told us that children that are involved in high-quality pre-K, that they have a better chance at educational success. But something happens to children between kindergarten and fourth grade, our children, that makes them disinterested in school. Well, we have a great pre-K program here in Rochester. Right now, I have put together an early learning council that's looking at pre-K and making sure that we have enough seats available and making it easy for parents to enroll their children into pre-K. And we know that those children that come out of those high-quality pre-K programs, when they enter into the district, the city school district, they're basically on the same level as their suburban counterparts. They have the same parents that they had when they entered into kindergarten. They still have the same, in the same neighborhood, same socioeconomic, status, but something happens between kindergarten and fourth grade that makes them disinterested in education, and we lose them there. So we have to figure out what happened. In my mind, it's a new system. It's a different focus, and things have changed. So we need to engage parents and letting them know and understand that they are a part of the solution and they cannot be part of the problem. And we need their help. But we also need to understand that we have to do things a little bit differently. We have to give children a fighting chance at life. And the only way we do that is giving them a basic, sound education. They have a constitutional right to that. So when people talk to me about a young man that's standing out on the corner, and they say, well, it's a societal, it's a, I was at an event the other day, and it's a cultural issue. I tell them the same thing that you said. Children in Pittsburgh, it's the best school district, one of the best school districts in the country. The city of Rochester, one of the worst. They're within 15 miles of each other. How do we let this happen? So for me, as mayor, I don't control the school district, but I believe that we have to, on the issue of education, I must lead. And leading means I'm going to open the doors to more charter schools to come in and help us. Leading means I'm going to work with the city school district to see what I can do to help. But I'm also going to advocate for legislation in the state legislature that will allow Rochester to establish a scholarship fund. And this scholarship fund will allow private individuals and private companies to give money to receive a tax credit that will allow children in their parents to send their kids into a private school or a Catholic school or any other parochial school. Because I believe that in order in any business, in order to right size and make them really function correctly, you have to introduce competition. And that's the only way we're going to change our city school district. The only way is we stop sacrificing our children to a failing system. And that's not saying that we have bad teachers, because I don't believe that. I went to Catholic school and I went to public school. I graduated from Wilson Magna High School right around the corner. And can't say that I was the best student when I was there. But we had, strong teachers and we had a strong principal. And those are things that really matter on the ground. But we have to do everything that we can to help our children succeed. Now, for those young people that have graduated, that have dropped out of school, one of the things that we have to do, as I said earlier, is link them to the services that are out there. You have Oasis, you have Vested, you also have REOC, MCC. You have to go out there and tell them that there are programs out here for them, and we need them to get off our corners. One of the things that I am trying to get one of our foundations or local philanthropists to do is provide money for a pilot program where we could do a paid training program. My family moved here from Key Street, South Carolina. My uncles had an opportunity to go to Manpower, and at Manpower they were paid, $50, $50 a week to actually learn a trade. And after they learned that trade, they were able to go into either Rochester Products or Kodak or one of these companies. And so the people are out there for a reason. They believe that this is their only way to earn an income. And so if you're able to give them a little stipend to get them over the hump while they're being trained, then once you have a job on the back end, then you've made them a productive citizen for the rest of their life. But you have to give them time to get there. Part of that is a lot of them cannot sacrifice the time off of the street corner to go to school because that's the only way that they're able to take care of their families. So I'm working on that right now. Yes, ma'am.
I think most of the people here are probably very committed to having their children in school and to participate with that child in school. The dilemma that I hear, the problem is, and I'm wondering what some potential solutions are that you're considering, is how do you get those unmotivated parents? Parents that don't get their kids out to go to school, or parents that probably are into drugs themselves or whatever, and those parents that let their kids hang. How do you get them to do a flip and become much more committed to having their children participate in all this wonderful stuff that we're talking about?
I believe that, and to be honest with you, most parents want what's best for their children. They just don't know how to give it to them. So we have to teach them. If you don't know better, you can't do better. If you've never been taught, if you're repeating a cycle, a vicious cycle that started with you, if you don't know better, you can't do better. And that is why we have to really engage them and show them. Programs like the Perinatal Network, where they start off early with parents, from kindergarten, not kindergarten, but from birth to 2 years old, showing them that they that as a parent, there's certain things that you have to do with your child, and giving them the support that they need and teaching them something different. And that's the biggest thing. And the mental health program is something that we don't really want to talk about in our community, but it's something that's plaguing many of us, from our children to their parents. And so we have to really look at the things that we're funding and provide a holistic approach and make sure that the resources are being given in the neighborhood. For example, a lot of times we have programs and, the parent or the child is located in, say, on Gardner. And, we have a recreation center on Gardner in the summertime. But the program that we need them to go to is all the way on Highland Avenue. Why can't we bring the program to where people are located? One of the things that we are doing and looking at is utilizing our recreation centers is a different way. And, you know, in the summertime, we see 300 to 400 children a day in many of our recreation centers. We talk about summer learning loss. We've never had real programming in those recreation centers. It's really all been about play. And so we need to give, we need to make sure that during those summer months, we are not only just allowing the children to come in and play, but we're also giving them some educational opportunities as well. And so making sure that we connect with those community partners that are already providing those services and have them provide those services where the children are located. That's what we're going to be looking at doing this summer. And we'll see how it goes, and then we'll try to expand as we go on. But we have to bring the resources to the people and not have the people try to get to the resources.
Compare Adopt a Block program that doesn't exist now with Clean Sweep. Clean Sweep loses hands down. If we were to take and reinstitute Adopt a Block and have that program extend over months of time, people will see that there's improvement. Like on Thurston Road, we would have kids working, doing beneficial tasks, and that kind of benefit would serve much better than the one-time.
Something that I've heard a lot of about the Adopt a Block program, and I think that we can, we have our Commissioner of Environmental Services looking at a way to go back to a similar program like Adopt a Block. Tracy Miller at my office is her number is 428-6684. She's heading up that faith-based initiatives. What we are getting ready to do is meet with a number of the
O'clock in the morning to set up for this event. And this event, all the food is donated by the Presbyterian Home. And we appreciate that very much. As I said, everybody works together, the YMCA, the churches, the community association, the Presbyterian Home. So we appreciate that, and thanks also Nancy Smythe. We're not able to do this, and the community association, via my husband and myself, picked it up. This is the 16th year we've had this at the Presbyterian Home. So that's a good event. And St. Monica supports it, and you had Father Ray Fleming, who gave the invocation. Now, the last thing before the benediction with Reverend Webster, I would ask you after the benediction in true neighborhood fashion if you would help clean up, please. Okay. Reverend Webster?
I will hold you up and see if they can help advocate for you. I got a